Sam, we've got Ram, we've got Sam all on the show. Well done. Another win. 6 from 6, Tom, in the Champions League. Talk to me. You're on mute.
Going to use the term professional performance to describe that, and that's me being nice. That was certainly not one of the more memorable games of the season. I was a little bit shocked with the strength of the lineup that we used. Thought you might see the likes of Endo or Elliott from the get-go, but Slot went strong. We weren't in control for most of the game. It was just Nunez, just Nunez. I was listening to the commentary and they're going, "Oh, he's just so unlucky, so unlucky." Is he unlucky? Unlucky would happen a couple of times. I've seen unlucky strikers before. At what point do we start saying it's lucky when Nunez puts it in the net rather than misses? It's lucky when he actually finds the back of the net. Because this has been a problem. And guess what? His hold-up play has improved. Not to the level of top strikers, though. So it's not enough to negate the lack of quality in front of goal. Today, he had one in the first minute, took it early on the left. He had one that he should have headed at the goal side to try and head it backwards and then just didn't connect with it. One where he's put through on his right foot, his strong foot, and knobs it into the ground. His movement in the box at times is non-existent. He blows hot and cold like you wouldn't believe, and we are desperate for Diogo Jota to come back. What Nunez has done in the past 2 months has made me need a striker. I didn't think we needed a striker this quickly. I think you need a striker as one of your top priorities right now because you cannot win a league title. You cannot win a Champions League if that's your number 9. You won't. And I've tried.
Did I just hear this correctly?
I've tried so hard.
Did I just hear this correctly? The same guy that messaged me, I fell in love with Nunez because of the compilations.
Yes.
This is the same guy that said this.
Mm-hmm.
The door has been closed to the Nunez haters club. You can stay outside.
That door will never close. I just look at these. I don't even need a genuine world-class striker though. I'd love one. I'd love one. That's not to say I'd turn one down, but I look at the likes of what Cunha does at Wolves or Joao Pedro does at Brighton. If I had him in my team instead of Nunez, the team would improve. Luis Diaz can't play striker. Luis Diaz has never played striker much before this season, and he already looks to be a better fit for up front for Liverpool than Nunez. That's the most damning thing I can say. And he's very lucky that the defence bailed him out today. He's very lucky that Alisson Becker came in today and didn't miss a trick in his first game back, because the chances that he missed were criminal. And everyone will say, "Oh, the other attackers didn't do much." Yes, they probably didn't, because every time it went to Nunez, the attacks died. The attacks died when it went into him. He couldn't do anything. Big ups, Alisson's the man of the match, 100%. Van Dijk was brilliant. Joe Gomez was good. Robertson and Trent were sound. Curtis Jones grew into the game in the second half. Szoboszlai was good. Done a lot of the hard work. Was good at getting us up the pitch when we were under spells of pressure. Gravenberch was great again. Good to see Harvey Elliott back. And Mo Salah's inevitable. But there's not much to talk about in that game except my number 9 and the fact that I watched Newcastle and I watched Girona, and the pair of them have just been some of the worst striking performances I've ever seen for Liverpool, and I've seen some bad ones. I see Mario Balotelli spend a full season not caring up front, and he still put in mostly better performances than that.
What I find interesting about Darwin Nunez, and I feel like Jamie Carragher started this with his whole Captain Chaos thing, but whenever I listen to the British journalists talk about him, he's the only striker in the Prem who consistently has poor performances, poor in front of goal, where they just say he's unlucky, but he works hard, he's great. Other strikers that do that get absolutely ripped to shreds. It just again, as an observation as an outsider, I don't feel like he gets anywhere near the criticism of other struggling strikers. When you consider
Alvaro Morata,
but where you consider how, yeah, I'll finish up by saying where you consider how good Liverpool are as well. It's not like he's struggling in a struggling team. He's struggling in the best team in the world.
Alvaro Morata's reputation for years in world football has been absolutely battered because he's this inconsistent finisher who doesn't turn up for you when you need it most. You know what? I'd much rather have Morata. I'd much rather have Morata because his all-round game's better. And you know what? He's actually a better finisher. I really just don't see it with Nunez. He was the Klopp project, and there was a lot of faith put in the fact that it was the Klopp project. And Jurgen Klopp has developed some of the best forwards in football, in recent football in the history. There's one in this team.
Just recent.
Yeah, he's only managed him recently.
Why did you?
In history, man, in history. That's a personal.
But then you go and look at the one that didn't work. There's one glaring point in that whole repertoire of attackers that Jurgen Klopp has developed across Borussia Dortmund and Liverpool. There's one that didn't work. There's one that didn't work. It's Darwin Nunez.
Repertoire. It's repertoire. I thought.
Yes, it's repertoire.
Or reservoir. What did you say?
Repertoire.
Repertoire.
Oh.
Reservoir.
That's exactly why you're a wool. Anyway.
Yeah. Hussam. Obviously, Tom's getting a lot of stick in the comment section saying they won, but he's still really angry. How are you feeling after that performance? Who was great and what frustrated you?
Who was great? Great is a big word. No one was great, brother. You know?
Okay.
Great is a big word.
KJ, clip it up. Hussam said his team was shit. Clip it up and title it. Let's go.
Can you stop clickbaiting, Terry? Anyway, so when it comes to this conversation, listen, I'm happy we won the game. We've conceded 1 goal in 6 games, which is very impressive in the Champions League. Because you're gonna come off against players of quality. You're gonna come up against someone who can score goals, who can hurt you. Regardless, even today, it's not like Girona are a bunch of scrubs. They're in the Champions League for a reason, and we kept another clean sheet. People say Alisson had saves to make. Well, guess what? The best teams in the world require their keepers to make saves. If we're going to use that logic, we should have beaten Madrid in the Champions League final if it wasn't for Courtois. So keepers make saves. Breaking news. Now, when it comes to today's game, professional performance, we won the game. I didn't even really think like most of the players had like bad game, if you would like. They were just average, sixes. Usually Terry says the statement they were at 6s and 7s, and today that perfectly describes it. Just 6 and 7. Some players 6, some players 7. But I will say, I think there are 3.
Hussam, just to let you know, the phrase being at 6s and 7s means things are a bit of a mess and a bit confusing and a bit crazy. That's not what it means. The phrase.
I thought it means 6 and 7s out of 10.
No, when you're at 6s and 7s, it's when you're all over the place. Just so you know.
Fair enough. Okay, you learn something new every day.
To be fair, the fact that Hussam is even mentioning that particular phrase as a foreign person speaking English, I think deserves some applause. Because
you can always rely on Rax to make
Thank God there's not a certain someone here who would say, "Oh, I told you I was going to teach you some English." Remember?
Hey, good old days. Now they're just saying the same stuff I said. But anyway, let's focus
very
on the game. Everyone's aimed out now. It's hilarious. So when it comes to this game, professional performance, keep a clean sheet, win. There is nothing to complain about from a overarching perspective. But individuals, everyone knows I am Trent's biggest fan on this whole application, but I think Trent didn't necessarily have a good game today. So many passes were just wayward and just not. And it's not even the defending. It's just like, bro, we know sometimes you get beat, but like, I thought you're one of the best passers in the world. Can we get some accurate passing, Trent?
He did get beat a few times by Dan Juma today, but do you know what? I feel like he didn't do it on purpose. But Dan Juma is one of those horrible footballers. He can beat a man with ease, but there's nothing that comes after.
Nothing at the end of it.
It's
Absolutely
so
nothing.
annoying to watch.
And so for me, the problem with Trent was going forward. I think as well, Robertson, both fullbacks today didn't perform at a high level. Both of them. And it's not even, once again, I'll go back to this. It's not defending wise. It's just passing wise. They just weren't there. Robertson, every cross hitting first man again. And of course, we have to mention the elephant in the room, aka the donkey in the room. I'm just bored. I'm really bored of Darwin Nunez at this point. There is nothing. I don't think there is anyone on this panel who could say something new that they haven't said already. This is season 3. We're saying the same shit we said in season 1 and season 2. Fuck his work rate and all this. He works hard. 70 million pounds. When Liverpool Football Club spent 70 million pounds, which is rare that we spend this much money, he is expected to perform. He's expected. And once again today, a Mo big chances created comp is simply a Nunez miscomp. Yes, Salah was an amazing and incredible and a scintillating best, but he still creates the most dangerous chance of the game to Nunez, and Nunez just slams it straight at the keeper. The guy that does my shorts, he messaged me. He's like, if my little brother was in the position that Nunez was in for the header, even he would at least try to do something. Because this is Nunez. The ball's coming down. There is no pressure. The closest person to you is like that much far away, like from me and the TV, like 3 meters, 4 meters. You can't just volley it. You can't just control it and shoot. You cannot teach someone to have a brain. That's why me and Terrace struggle when we work with Tom Little. You just can't teach IQ. You just can't teach decision making. You just can't. And he doesn't have it. That's why I'm not sitting up here and criticizing Diaz, because I don't think Diaz has a bad game. I don't think Gakpo had a bad game. No one really had a bad game except those 3. We got beaten way too easily in terms of fullbacks, and their passing was off. And Darwin Nunez. And I'm so glad people like Tom is waking up, because we need to sign a forward line in January. I'll go as far as saying signing Jean-Philippe Mateta from Crystal Palace.
Oh, let's not do this again.
Stop it. You wanted Mason Mount. Stop talking. So anyway,
signing
Mateta to play for Liverpool as the striker is a better option than playing Darwin Nunez. Once again today, just shows he just has no IQ whatsoever. But I'm happy with a lot of the players. I know some people, by the way, were criticizing Slot for his team selection, but we need to remember that McAllister is banned for today's game and the Saturday game. And on top of that, next midweek is Carabao Cup. That's where you rotate heavily. That's where you bring in players.
You got an easy one.
Southampton. Yeah, that's why I'm saying with Southampton, you can rotate. You can play Tyler Morton and Now just play the serious players in the next 2 games. But I'm very happy with win, and we keep going.
I'll get you, bro. Sam, anything to add to that? What was on your mind during that game?
Sorry, just before Sam goes, have we qualified?
Pretty much.
Well, today, the win today.
Depending on the results, we are qualified.
Yeah, there's a few other results, because there's a few teams outside the top 8 that are on 10 points. If they win this week, theoretically you could drop out, but you would have to lose your next 2 games, and I think it would be like the 9 to 10 teams below you would all have to win, and that's probably not even possible because they play each other.
Yeah, so because some of them are going to be playing each other. Yeah.
You probably have qualified if we look into it. But yeah, sorry, Sam.